Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. You might wonder what I'm doing back over here at the Community Furnace and Alchemy Hut. Let me tell you, I have been alchemizing up a storm. Look at all these potions I got. Fire resistance, leaping, water breathing, regeneration. I think a lot of these might come in handy in the, I was going to say the coming war against Team Star. Might be the current war against Team Star. So we're going to leave these furnaces burning and head back toward the GTeam base. In this episode, we are gonna make another example of my W.A.R.D technique, which is weaponized architecture forward deployed. No, rapidly deployed. That would be WAFT, which is kind of a whiff if you think about it acronym-wise. What I'm thinking is these wards, in this case, we will be constructing a Parthenon, which is an example of a classic Greek bit of architecture. The original Parthenon still partially stands in Athens. The best replica of the Parthenon in the world currently stands in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're all very fond of it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to store all these potions in the base, then I'm going to head up to our scouting tower to identify the precise location in which we will lay down the foundation of our Parthenon, and that Parthenon, in the same way that we used a model of the Sears Roebuck Willis Tower for our scouting or observation post, this Parthenon will explicitly serve as a forward, operations base. This will be a place where we might store beds. We might be able to launch campaigns from it. So, if we know that we're going to be going through the enemy's defenses, we might want to be able to die and respawn on their side of the battlefield, at least, not to run all the way back from our base. So, this will be a good place for us to prepare and to, oh, this door's not going to work. Well, thanks, Iskall. Glad you fixed the door. See, look at me. I'm just as good a builder as Iskall. I fixed the door, too. Ba-da-da-da. Okay, where were we? Hey, kittens. You want fish? Do you eat cooked fish or only raw fish? I'm sorry, cats. I already cooked all this. But anyway, where were we? We have got to get going on our way. Time skip. Alright, dawn is nearly upon us, so it might be a little bit dangerous to go running out there and wildly exploring everything. Why do I have a fire resistance potion? You know what? I thought I had a regeneration potion, but you know what? Too bad. It's dawn. We're going out. Whoa, that's a pit. This whole area is full of fire anyway, so maybe that wasn't the worst potion. Whoa, the fire resistance logo up there got way cooler. That is a good symbol, Mojang design team. Okay, it doesn't look like there's too much more damage to the battlefield since my last foray. So I think if we follow roughly the path we took last time. Hello. Hello, Iskall. I'm Joe Hills. I'm on my way to see this Sears Tower. 'Cause I'm Joe Hills. Oh yeah, we gotta stay out of range of these laser guys. So if we swing up here real quick. Now the Parthenon is about 70 meters by 31 meters. And we're gonna build this to scale as best we can. Now if we wanted to build a Parthenon that projected power forward, the obvious place to do it is gonna be directly along here. And just to have it bridge this part of the moat, if at all possible. Now, you might say, Joe, that sounds like a terrible idea. Won't you get killed by all of those guys, those fellas there? Well, you know what? If I can't figure out a way to build a bunch of pillars and stairs without getting shot, maybe I don't deserve to build a Parthenon, The Greeks probably lived in constant fear of laser fish, so why shouldn't I? So we're just going to kind of wildly swing. How far? What is the range on these laserfish? Is it about here? Or about here? Still seem to be good. Okay. So we want the edge of the Parthenon to be at the edge. Okay, that's the range. That's the range. Okay. So. Great. So we know that we're safe about here. This needs to be 70 blocks, and we've placed 2 so far. So if we go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, wait, I can just put the whole 64 in and then... Ah! Now I'm in this trap. Dang it, False. You and your things. So if we place the whole 64, and then we place a few more, we should actually be okay. So we're just gonna hope that we don't activate any proximity traps or anything too crazy here. 35 blocks. I might have to build this further back to have it completely to scale. Okay, wow. Okay, actually... Hey, there seems to be some sort of entrance over here. These look like traps down there, though. Activate TNT moat. TNT moat sound... Oh. These look like traps. So in order to have this mesh up properly here, with what I was hoping to accomplish, I might actually need to build this Parthenon a little bit further back as well. But that's okay, because that gives us more protection. So that's why I brought this good old-fashioned shovel here. And you might say, Joe, what about when Rendog comes back from his trip and he needs to build a train line through the Parthenon? Well, you know what? Centennial Park used to have a train line through it, and they built the park anyway. So, you know, Rendog can probably figure this out. He's a pretty smart dog, you know? He's the man now, dog. So we're just gonna wildly flay at this. Good shovel. Good shovel. Now, this might have been a bit ambitious. Maybe they don't need a full-scale model of the Parthenon in Hermitcraft across from their base. But you know what? Maybe Nashville doesn't need a full-scale model of the Parthenon. I'm just kidding. That's insanity. Of course we do. Everyone does. You know, Cincinnati, why don't you have a Parthenon? Get on that, you Drew Carey goofballs. Okay, sorry, I got a little bit carried away there. So we got our 70 meters here. Now, the way this is generally going to work is that we're going to have kind of a 2x2 pillar, and then we're going to have a gap. So I'm going to dig out the pillars first. So we should just be able to alternate squares of obsidian and squares of, what do you call this, nether brick or whatever here, all the way down the line. Now we should have a total in sum of 17 pillars stretching toward their base and 8 pillars out here in general. Now, whether or not that's actually going to work out, I'm kind of goofballing some of this, which is not the same as airballing it, but I'm not in charge of basketball analogies. I'm just a goofball. So, core concept, we are going to continue kind of marking out where our pillars go and making sure that we have the right quantity of pillars. And we're going to try not to get shot by these guys, even though it seems like that's a real possibility if we get too close to them. Yeah, see that's the laser. That's the no-good laser. And we don't... One thing to remember about the no-good laser is it is explicitly bad. Oh no, False. No. Dang it, False. Okay, this build is going to be far more difficult than it needs to be on account of False's moat. Some people might be like, Joe, you're wasting False's moat by building a bridge across it. Well, let me tell you something. I am enduring False's moat in order to accomplish this goal. This is a non-trivial catastrophe obstacle for me, but I'm doing my best to approach it seriously and to overcome it. So, we're going to go ahead now and place some nether bricks here. It's funny because I visit the Parthenon all the time in real life, but I didn't really appreciate maybe how big it was until I tried to build a model of it. I think that's one of the real values of model construction, is that you appreciate things about the original that my shovel is now destroyed. So we might also need a new shovel, but time is a factor here, so we're going to just kind of keep plowing through without as many shovels as we had been previously using for the time being. That'll work. So the stairs up to the second level of the Parthenon kind of begin aligned with the corners of the second pillars on each axis. So we're going to go ahead and place these stairs in here for reference. This is not 100% perfect, but it will help us establish where things need to be. So actually on this second pillar then, we'll actually have an additional pillar that starts here, a pillar that starts here, and these pillars will be smaller than the external pillars. So we're going to use a 1x1 footprint for them, and they're going to generally lean inward. So we're going to have one that starts here. Okay, so we have the first 8 pillars in place, the ones that are closest to their base. I gotta say, one thing about the Parthenon is it's intended to have a lot of open space around it as an architectural icon. And so putting it right next to something ends up being a real power move. This is gonna be way more intimidating maybe than even I anticipated. So anytime that your anticipation fails to compensate for the intimidation of your enemies, you know, that's a good thing. I think we're gonna come out ahead here. I am probably going to have to run back and grab more materials soon because I am just burning through stuff super fast. But, you know, we still have some stairs left to place. So here we go. Time skip. Alrighty, folks, we are on our final pillar on the outside of the Parthenon. I don't think I'm going to do the traditional internal pillars that the original architecture or the original architect envisioned because our internal structure is basically a siege engine. This is going to be a mechanism. This architecture is a mechanism by which we will attack the other team. So, what I'm thinking is the entire inside of this will be an upward slope that allows us to climb to the roof and observe and possibly leap across whatever TNT field they have here. Because we can't trust that this land here is safe. So, anyway, what we need to do now that we've constructed that final pillar there. Let's go ahead and take a view from a distance. I'm not sure if this will look right without the roof on it at all, because the original Parthenon, they use the same stone throughout, but what makes the pillars stand out most from the internal wall, or external wall, is the difference in lighting. So the pillars would be brightly lit, but the internal wall would be covered by the roof, and then dark. So you get a high contrast there. We don't have the roof on, and in Minecraft, you just can't tell right now. You're just not getting a sense of the Partheninity of this entire structure. If we run over here to Wells Knight's future train station, yeah, it just kind of looks like an indistinct rectangle, which is unfortunate because I've just spent 2 hours on this. I'd like to point out that from my estimates, this phase of the project would take about 17 minutes. So, you know who's bad at estimating projects? This guy. But we're going to go ahead now and work on this interior space and start framing, in the very least, the roof. I have to get on a plane very, very soon, though. So we might not be able to knock out all of this today. Luckily, bricks are not an immediate concern, thanks to all the bricks that I have been cooking from with the Community Nether Hub project. Look at that. I'm ahead of Asuma now in terms of bricks I've dug out, or blocks I've dug out. Now, you can only turn every 4 of those into another brick, but that's fine. Time skip. Wow, guys, I thought that 5 shulker boxes full of nether brick would be enough. It wasn't. It turns out massive structures require massive amounts of bricks. Now, I have managed to achieve my primary objective of bridging across about 12 water blocks there, so that I don't have to worry about false symmetry's mode as much. Secondarily speaking, let's say that it's nighttime and I want to do some sort of infiltration run into the enemy base. What I can do is, rather than attacking their base head on, whoa, there's a skeleton there, I remember him. We're going to bypass him as well. I see we can kind of sneak in through this little structure here, either just hug in these pillars and hoping the enemy doesn't see us, or what I've done here, I haven't had the time to do the entire internal structure, but I've set up both an archery range here, where any enemies who tried to rush us from that side, we could climb up there and shoot down at them, but also I've got a bridge across the soul sand here, and a ladder upward that people would be able to use. Or spiders apparently are spawning. Yeah, too many spiders. So many spiders. Why are there so many spiders? Too many. So many. Too many. No. 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 Thank goodness they weren't poisonous. Core concept. This staging area might still need a little bit done, but I'm about to hop on a plane. The roof isn't finished entirely, but it does give us the means to climb up and look down on the enemy base with a lot more kind of variable viewpoints than we would have had just on that single tower. That single tower there, if everybody climbs up on that, for one thing, we're not all going to fit. For For another thing, we're really easy to pick off. The enemy can shoot us too easily. But with this over here, you know, we can be sneaking from behind here, poking our heads around. Hopefully, while I'm on my trip, the rest of my netherrack will cook in that smelter in the fantasy district if False logs in enough. Don't tell her not to log in, because I really need that to cook. And we can hopefully get this roof done, work on the interiors next week. But I'm really happy with my progress so far. Hope you guys are too. Anyway, I have a plane I have to catch. So, until next time, y'all. Oh, wait, this is a really bad place to look at this. Should I end the video looking at the structure from inside the structure? You know what? Yeah, let's end the video looking at their base from up here, outside of the range of the lasers. Although that thing could definitely shoot at us, and I think Doc Gam has some more cannons he's working on. But core concept, we've got a pretty good Parthenon going on. I don't want to get shooted by the lasers. But yeah. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.